Okay, while we're waiting for Coach Ferentz to join us, I'll open the floor to questions to the student athletes. Please identify yourself and let us get a microphone to you. Let's start over here to the right.
Hi, this is Mark Brown from the Des Moines Register. For Marvin, talk about the first half a little bit. Was a lack of execution, slow start, not finishing plays. Talk about the start that you had.
Definitely, we didn't come out the way we wanted to during the first half. Had a lot of negative plays and penalties, things you can't have when you play a team like Oklahoma.
Questions? Have one here in the front.
Hi, Mark Morehouse from the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Marvin, you looked like you had a wrist and then a shoulder late, and then the camera almost killed you.
Yeah, I feel like somebody was trying to kill me on that staff. If you are looking, I'm looking for you. No, but yeah, I was lucky it didn't hit me though. That cord was pretty sharp though. Yeah, it kind of landed on it a little weird, but I mean, it didn't hurt it. I was still able to play.
Okay, right in the aisle.
Myron Patton, Fox in Oklahoma City. Marvin, kind of talk about the matchup you and Jamel Fleming had out there. You and him were kind of one-on-one. He had you one-on-one all night. Talk about that matchup.
Yeah, it was a fun matchup. We was battling the whole game. A lot of times, just balls went other places really. But Oklahoma had a game plan again, and they worked it well. But me and Vandy just weren't connecting when we needed to.
Okay, Coach Ferentz has joined us, and I'll ask him for some opening comments, and then we'll go to questions for Coach.
Yeah, first of all, just congratulate Oklahoma. They played an excellent game. They're a very good football team, very well coached, and played an excellent game tonight. And on our side of the coin, obviously we came up short, but really proud of our players' effort. Thought they competed and worked hard all game long. And tonight Oklahoma's just a better football team.
Okay, questions for Coach. Right here in the front row to the left, Coach.
Okay. Randy Peterson from Des Moines. What was the difference between the fourth quarter for you guys offensively and the first three quarters?
Well, yeah, I don't know if you can put a finger on something like that. We had opportunities in the first half, drove it down, came up short on a fourth down. Then we had a critical error, an unforced error on a play that would have got us over the ball, or the ball over the midfield, over the 50. So, we did some things to hurt ourselves, but, Oklahoma had a big part of that too. They're a very talented team. They're very aggressive, very quick, and, they were playing hard.
More questions for Coach Ferentz. Okay, can we get a mic to the back there to the right? Please identify yourself.
Tyler Lockman, Fox Sports Arizona. Just how hard does it make it for your defense when you've got to stop not only Jones but also Blake Bell when they move into that formation in the red zone?
They're a tough preparation no matter how you slice it. Jones can really throw the football. Anybody's at the game or seen them play knows that. He's got a tremendous arm. They're a good scheme. And then part of that scheme, they've built in the other part of the substitute quarterback, and that guy's a load. But it's a well-conceived package, and they're a good football team top to bottom, and it makes it a challenge. They've been averaging 40-plus points a game this year and moving the ball pretty well. So I thought our guys played hard and really competed hard on defense, and we put ourselves in some tough spots. A turnover. Didn't help ourselves with field position in the kicking game a couple times. So you give a team like that a short field, that's not a good thing.
Coach, to your far left over here in the front row.
Hi. Could you assess Jordan's performance? I know that he had a lot thrown at him this week and, showed up, had a lot of touches. And then is James okay?
Canzeri, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, first of all, James, I think is fine. He took a shot there at the end, and I don't think he would have come back at any point in the game. And Zusevic came out. He couldn't go in the second half. He had flu the other day, and that just kind of wore him down. But if there's a highlight tonight, I think two things: the guys competed hard. I thought our effort was really good, and the guys competed start to finish, and then. Other guys stepped up and did a good job. Canzeri, I thought, really did a nice job. I thought all the backs did. Jason White, when he had his opportunities, Bullock, and Brad Rogers as well. But thought Jason really did Jordan did a really good job out there. Van Sloten had to come in for Zeus, and we seemed to operate just fine with him up there. So that was good to see. And Anthony Hitchens too when James Morris came out on defense.
Bob Brooks to your left.
Yeah, Coach, could you comment on what Iowa can build on out of this game? And also, I'd like to have the players answer that question.
Well, I mean, we knew we were playing a really outstanding football team in Oklahoma, and they had their run of bad luck or bad fortune there right at the end. But they certainly took this month and went back to work, and they looked really good out there tonight. So, we knew it was going to be a tough challenge. I thought our guys really competed, and that all starts with your effort and the attitude you take into a game. And we're I think we have enough players right now where we'll build on that, and we'll start thinking about that here in a day or two. But at the same time, we're losing a group of 18 seniors that really have done a great job over the last 4 years. 35 wins, done a good job in the classroom, and certainly have taken us to 4 straight bowls now, winning 3 of them. So, it's a great group of guys. They've been great leaders and certainly have helped set the tempo. And to replace 18 seniors like that, that's no easy task. So a lot of other guys at the other end are going to have to really step up. But that's college football too. But we're really appreciative of what these seniors have done.
Questions for Coach Ferentz? Any more questions for Coach? Okay, we'll go to questions for this. You have one more, Bob?
Coach, what about you had a big gain just before the half on a pass play, and you were flagged for wrong formation. What happened there?
Yeah, it was latter part of the second quarter, I guess. It was just we didn't line up correctly, and that's like I said, we had a chance. We advanced the ball over midfield, had a chance maybe to get something going there a little bit, and in a game like that, you're playing a good defensive team like that. You need every play. They're all going. The yards came tough tonight, and unforced errors. That's something we can't afford to do, and you can't afford that against anybody, but certainly not a good opponent.
Any final questions for Coach? Okay, we'll go to questions for the student athletes. Questions for the student athletes to the right.
For Marvin, if you could just kind of take us, what was going through your head when that sky cam fell?
At first I was like, "What is that?" That fell out of the sky, and then next thing I know, the line from the camera was kind of scratching me a little bit, and it was just pulling me, and I knew I didn't want to keep going with it. So,
questions for the student athletes.
Jared Aarons from CBS and Fox in Cedar Rapids. For Broderick and Mike, can you just talk about what the battle was like up front and trying to hold that offense? Let's start with Broderick and then Mike.
Yeah, Broderick, why don't you start?
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma, tough team. Tip your hat off. They came out ready to go from the jump. Of course, when you're dealing with a high-powered offense, there's different dynamics that you got to try to defend. And, we knew that they wanted to come out and pass. When number 10 came in the game, we knew he was most likely going to run the ball, and so it's something that we practiced throughout the month of preparing for this game. Things just didn't go our way today. So,
yeah, they're very dangerous at every position on the offense. So, I mean, when you play a very dangerous team like that, we had a couple of hiccups out there, and that clearly showed the results show when you make hiccups against a very dangerous team like that. Up front, they were big and they were quick, so they really came off the ball fast, and they knew where they were going. They made sure they got there. They played physical too. So I mean, that was a very, very good offensive front. One of the best that we've played all year.
Right here in the front to your left.
Yeah, Tony Capobianco, Tucson citizen, and to Marvin. Even though it hurts to lose, how does it feel to finish your collegiate career in the record books at Iowa with receptions for a single season?
It's definitely a great honor to be a part, like I said, this tradition here at Iowa. Maybe reflect on a few more days right now, It just doesn't feel good to lose.
Stay here to the left.
Mike, looking back, what are you going to remember about your Iowa career?
I'm just going to remember everything that the coaches taught me. You know, all the coaches at every position, all the staff, the trainers, the secretaries, the janitors, and watching how all my teammates grew up and matured. You know, like take Marvin Fences, he came in as a quarterback, and the first pass he ever thrown was a pick, and now he changes to a receiver. Excuse me. He's very unselfish. Made a selfless act getting switched to receiver, and now he's like in the record books for being one of the greatest. So, you know, watching a guy like Tom Nardo, you know, play on the scout team for about 3.5 years and come out and he's all over the place every year, and then being able to play next to Brod has just been an honor. You know, just saying, watching all of my teammates and while watching how we all matured together is just one thing that I'll definitely remember.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. good. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah. How's your mom? Doing good. Doing good. Okay, again, we will ask Coach Stoops for some opening remarks, and then would you please direct your questions to Coach Stoops, followed by questions to the student athletes. Coach?
I'm sorry, I was messing around with Frank there. Am I just opening comments?
Opening comments and then questions for you.
I guess I just want to compliment Iowa, Coach Ferentz, his staff, the team, for a well-played game, exciting game, down there into the fourth quarter. And I thought, again, they do an excellent job of making you work hard in different ways to beat them, to execute against them. And anyway, but I'm very proud of our players, the guys here, the guys that are in the locker room, to really play a pretty clean game. And that we took care of the football, had very few penalties, really executed, for the most part pretty well. There's some things you'd always like to do a little better, but overall they did an excellent job. So I'm proud of them to be here, winning our 10th game, finishing the season this way for some of the seniors to leave on with their third straight bowl win, and then that gives and they kind of present then the team coming back with some momentum for the off season, and hopefully we can build on it.
Questions for Coach Stoops? We have one in the front. You have one in the back? Okay, go ahead. Start back there.
James Hale, Sports Talk 1400, The Ref. Bob, could you talk about your defense tonight, the game plan you had? Your linebackers blitzed a lot. You used a lot of things, and that also allowed you to stone the run. They only rushed for 2 yards a carry, and you got pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, it was. I thought all our defensive coaches and Coach Venables did a nice job they do such a good job in their offensive line of comboing people, double them for a while, then they climb up to your backers and whatnot that Coach Venables wanted to try and penetrate it a little bit to get them off of those double teams quicker. Even if they pick you up, doesn't allow them to double certain people. So it worked out well, and I thought the guys did an excellent job up front. Big Frank here and the guys of being physical, getting off blocks, taking up space. Because you didn't see a lot of gash, the guys were where they needed to be, and then the secondary support off of it was really good. So it worked out well.
To your right, Coach, in the front row.
Sorry, Bob. I was sitting here typing while you were talking. You talk about a team win. I know there were a couple of hiccups on offense throughout the game, but your punter averages 50 yards per punt, flipping the field against an offense that's a little bit hamstrung. You get a field goal to clinch it. Special teams really stood out tonight, and you had a couple of kick returns that almost went the distance. I mean,
they were really good. Special teams were great. Tress's punt was a fact. Now you say that, how did I miss giving him a game ball? I got to go back in the locker room and get him one. But he did great. Our kickoff coverage was great. Our kick returns were really good. And then Michael Honeycutt comes out and when he has to have it and kicks an excellent field goal. So all those guys did a really good job.
On the aisle, Coach. Go ahead.
Bob, talk about your decision to give basically Jamel Fleming Marvin McNutt at the receiver a lot, one-on-one.
Well, Jamel lines up into the boundary, and he does a fair amount too. They go 3-by-1, which a lot of people do, meaning if you're going to do all these excellent coverages over to these three, we're going to go one-on-one with this guy, which a lot of people do with their really good receiver. So I don't know that it was designed that it was just Jamel going to go cover him. When he's to the wide field, the other guys are covering him. But Jamel did a great job. So a long story, we didn't change what he does, but when he had him, thought through the night, I thought Jamel had a great game, the way he competed with them, and he's a great receiver. I think he does a great job.
Right in front of you, Coach.
Bob, you had some candid comments early in the week about some of the things that had gone wrong this year and what you've done recently in the last month to take care of it or what you're going to do going forward. Did you think, based on all that, your team really responded well in preparation and through this game tonight? I
really do. We've started some steps in what we've done and what we're doing as a program, and these guys have been awesome. I said that coming here that I was really proud of the way they worked back home, and we gave them four good 4 days off. You guys had a pretty good Christmas break, didn't you? Yes, sir. And then they came back and had 4 practices here. We didn't have a full week. but they were awesome. They were, they really went hard and they prepared well.
Any further questions for Coach Stoops in the back?
Somebody over there.
Okay, you can go ahead in the front row.
Oh, no, I was going to go with players. Sorry.
Okay, we have one in the back.
Coach, obviously the last 6 games, something you've used a lot was the with Blake and Landry, the variation with those. How much did it mean to you tonight to have that option to drive with Landry and then use Bell to pound it in?
Well, there's just no denying anyone that uses the quarterback run game, and you go back to, you watch Oregon when they do it, Florida with Tebow, and when he was a young quarterback, and then on, you get the extra blocker when the quarterback's running the ball, and it just makes a huge difference. You have a chance to have a body on a body, and then you find space with it. So it's really through the whole year made a huge difference in our short yardage run game and our red zone run game. And let's face it, throwing the football, the tighter you get down there, there's less field, there's less space for the defense to cover. It's been a huge advantage for us to be able to implement that. And then the time it takes people to have to work on it. So now they've got to deal with that, a good part of their practice, not just zeroing in on the things, that Landry's operating from. So it's been a huge, part of those two areas, the short yardage and, because, again, it's just, a lot of people know you're going to hand it off when it's 3rd and 1 anyway. Well, now you got the extra blocker. You got somebody on everybody.
Question here, Coach Stoops.
Hey, Bob, could you talk about the play Jefferson at safety and the safety play that you had tonight? You mentioned a little bit earlier that Jefferson really, with his hitting ability and the physical play tonight, looked like he set the tone back there too.
Yeah, he seemed to have a really good game. Looked like he tackled well and was in position really most of the night. So, Tony and Aaron Colvin, I thought both did a really good job.
Second row.
Bob, talk to those who said this game didn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, I was watching your demeanor out there, your players. It was almost like a Big 12 championship game or something.
Well, I mean, you'd have to explain that to me. What game? So if you're not in a national championship, it doesn't mean a lot? I mean, where do you start setting that gauge? I don't understand it. I'm not calling that at you. I'm just saying overall. I mean, so what is a big, why wouldn't it mean a lot? We're playing, right? I mean, so which bowl game means a lot? So if someone else is playing for the national championship and you're playing for the Rose Bowl, that doesn't mean anything, right? It's not going to be national champions, or does it? I mean, all these games mean a lot. If you're the ones playing them, right, Frank? Yes, sir. You got to win. So ask Frank.
To the far right.
Yeah, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Bob, far on your right. I don't know if you got to see any of the Baylor game last night, but did anything cross your mind at any point watching it thinking, I'm glad that stuff's behind us, dealing nothing against Iowa in the Big Ten, but the kind of quarterbacks and offenses you've been dealing with all year, and tonight was a different kind of deal.
Well, it is. There's different styles, and I'm sure next year, I know throughout our league, there'll be a whole mess more of them, that you have to deal with all that type of schemes and spread the field the way they do in athletes, and quarterback run game is where it all begins. So it's we had a one night reprieve from it.
Final question for Coach, and we'll go to the student athletes.
Bob, you had your brother Mike on the sideline tonight throughout the game. What was that like for you personally, emotionally? I know you're tied up in the game, but he's by your side. And then secondly, is it too much to read anything into that? Is he coming back to OU? Is there a
well? He was at the Tech game too, and that didn't work out real well. So I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It means he's my brother, and he lives not too far away. Why wouldn't he come to the game? And I see him plenty. I didn't have any extra emotion that he was sitting there next to me. We've been in many big games together.
Okay, questions for the student athletes, please. We have one here. Let's start here.
Chris Lincoln with ABC and Tulsa. Landry, decision time, is it getting closer? What would be the parameters? Have you Got any thoughts on your future coming back to OU or declaring for the draft?
I think it's nice just to have this season kind of behind me where I can actually sit down and not have another game on my mind while I make this decision. But as far as right now, I don't really know what I want to do.
In the back, in the aisle.
James Hale, once again, from Sports Talk 1400, The Ref. Frank and Jamel, could you talk about the pride that you played with tonight? A lot of people have said this is not a great defense or a good defense compared to what has been through the Stoops era, but yet tonight, you showed everybody that you can play really good defense when you can get some things going.
Frank, why don't you take that first?
Well, I mean, coach them stressed to us all week, that Iowa was going to be a physical, matchup, and they was saying they was going to beat us physically, and we as a D line we stressed it the whole week. We gotta be more physical than them. The team that's more physical and that lasts longer is gonna win the game. And that's what we winning. The game with. And everybody came out there. And, we treated this just like a national championship. Even though we didn't get to make it. This is our national championship, and we want to, finish strong.
Jamel?
This was a real important game. Not just to us, just to to the Box family. This is the last year Box would have been able to play with us, and it means something special to us. Especially at least having a 10-win season and doing it for them.
To the right in the front row.
Yeah, a question for Landry. On that one drive, I guess Blake's second touchdown, you were sacked. You guys had a holding penalty. You did that slide where you got hit in the head. Looked like you hit your head twice. And you still completed 2 third-down passes. Talk about that drive and just what that was like to kind of have to fight through some things and overcome adversity.
Yeah, some of those things just happened during a football game, and I think our guys did a great job of, regardless of the down and distance, just kept playing ball, making plays, and we got a lot of good athletes on this team. So you never know what's going to happen if you take a check down or anything like that. If someone makes a guy miss. So I think we just kept our cool, kept playing ball, and eventually put it in the end zone.
Right here in the front.
Tony Capobianco, Tucson Citizen, and this to Blake. This might actually be the biggest story of the game. While we in the media are talking about Landry here, you're the one that actually outdid him with MVP. Any reflections on that?
Not really. Landry's the one that, gets me down there and, when I punch it in. But so I give most of the credit to him. And like Coach Stoops was saying, the offensive line and, another hat out there. And those guys are getting on guys, and it's making it easy for me to get in.
To the right?
Yeah, Blake, I watched you walk off the field with that MVP trophy in your hands. I hadn't seen you smile like that, I guess, in a long time. But what was that like for you? I mean, what did that feel like? That was obviously a huge game and a huge moment.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. It's something you always dream about, as a kid, coming to a big game and getting an MVP. But like I said, it all starts up front with the line and, the coaching staff, how they prepared us this week. And like I said, even Landry just getting it down, it's just a team effort. And, I'm happy for the seniors to, go out on the win. So,
in the middle?
Landry, did you that hit you took in the first half? You get down too late. Kind of talk about that. Somebody asked, did you chip your tooth? I guess on TV they were trying to talk about your tooth or something.
Yeah, I think it was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, something like that. So as I was running, kind of checked toward the sideline, see where I was at, and was a little short, so I knew I was going to have to take a hit, and kind of went down, tried to get low, lower my pads, and guy kind of got underneath me, gave me a good little shot. I did chip some of my tooth, but it happens, and in our offense, we communicate so much to the offensive line. I usually don't wear a mouthpiece or anything like that, so sometimes that's the price you pay.
Here in the front.
Blake, I wanted to ask you just to take us back and tell us when the Belldozer or the package that you run evolved. I mean, just one moment, in time during the season, you came out and played it, and then the rest of the year you scored 12, 13 touchdowns. Tell us how that evolved. Did you know that was going to happen at the start of the year? Did you work your way into it? Just kind of take us through that if you could.
No, I didn't. Actually, it came up, let's see, it had been the K-State game we ran. That was the first time we ran it, and it just came up that week. So, no, that was the only time that, and, the Belldozer whole deal, it's, I think the fans started that, and they had a couple nicknames, and I think that one stuck. So,
Tell them how smooth you called that first play down there on the goal line at K-State.
Yeah, the first play I called down there was, I don't even think it, I mean, I was so nervous that I don't even think I got the first word out. So Coach Stoops was giving me a hard time about that one at practice next week.
Any final questions for the student athletes? Okay, let's go here, and then we have one in the back.
Jamel, when you were matched up with Marvin, I mean, as a DB, is that something you like, you relish? I mean, he was their best receiver. You're the, at least you and Montre both are good corners, but you had him. Is that something you like?
Yeah, I love that. I feel like I'm the best, DB, and I want to be the best DB. So going against a great receiver, having that challenge, that's important to me.
Far back to the right.
Tyler Lockman with Fox Sports Arizona. This question is for Landry. A lot of the talk about Blake's touchdowns tonight, but you got into the end zone with one of your receivers again for the first time in a while. Was there kind of a sense of relief and excitement for you, ending that drought?
Yeah, it's always fun throwing a touchdown, especially if you're a quarterback. So it's just a blessing whenever you get a chance to throw one in. And Rat did a good job of slipping past the corner and just put it in the corner of the end zone for him.
Any final questions for the student athletes? Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Congratulations.
All right.
Good luck to you. What? Why? We're going to have more than 2 mic holders Monday, I hope.
Yeah, weren't there 3?
There's only 2.